Okay, I think we're back. I'm thinking we're back. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I disconnected from my VPN and apparently it didn't like that. I wonder why. So how are you guys doing? I was just talking about the craziness at my house with all the repiping and everything. So what have you guys been up to this week? I'm curious. If you need to, feel free to refresh, because I know that the stream kind of crashed for a minute there. Before Chipotle Flash and Street Fighter interrupted me again, I spent some time with visiting family. Yay! Visiting family is awesome! Oh man, I hope that the ads weren't too bad, because I tried to make them as short as I possibly could. And as spaced out as I possibly could. So hopefully that's okay. Oh good, now the dropped frames are going down. Good. Alright, I think we've got all our tech issues resolved. Yay! So what all did you get to do with your family while you were visiting? Did you get to do anything fun? They might need to refresh. I don't know. I don't know. There might be... I'm sure there's more people. But hey, even if you're the only one, we're here for you. We are here because we love playing games and just hanging out and chatting and getting to just have some fun and fellowship. You had some pizza. You helped prep for a vegan meal your aunt is holding tomorrow. That's cool. That's super cool. Do you like vegan food? Is that some of your favorite? And what toppings? There we go. I can word. What toppings did you have on your pizza? I like Hawaiian pizza the best. I used to like just plain cheese the best. Then I grew to like pepperoni. And then I was introduced to the amazingness that is pineapple on pizza. And I was like, Hawaiian is my favorite. You're a dedicated omnivore? It's all good. I am too. So you were just helping get everything all set up, like, food-wise? Or, like, tables-wise? Making sure everybody has a seat and all that? Yeah, I'm a pretty picky eater myself, but I'm definitely an omnivore. Definitely an omnivore. I love my fruits and veggies, but I also love chicken and hamburger patties and all that good stuff too. So it's one of those things I'm like, hey, you know, you like what you like. You like the food you like, and there's all kinds of amazing foods out there. You used the gathering to extend your palate. Your pizza was thin crust with pepperoni and green peppers. Ooh. Pepperoni and green peppers. That is a combo I haven't heard before. Was it really, really good? Because I do kind of like those green bell peppers. But I've never had it on pizza before. I know it's like a common topping for pizza. It's just not one that I've typically gone for as a topping on my pizza. Oh, good! I'm so glad. I'm so glad it turned out amazing and you were able to extend your palate. That's something I've been working on. I have been working on trying something new. You mostly lent a hand gathering the veggies from the local Publix. Cool! I love it! I've been working on expanding my palate to other types of food as best I can, as, you know, trying to, like, get out of my comfort zone without being so out of my comfort zone that I'm, like, way in the depths, you know what I mean? And I'm still in the, okay, what's in this dish, you know, realm, where I'm like, okay, I need to know what's in it, so that way, if I know that everything in it is something that I like, I'm more likely to have the, ooh, I know that all of this stuff, I know that this cheese that's in here, even though it looks different, I know it's mozzarella, you know, or whatever kind of cheese. Oh, I know I like this, so even if it looks different when it's cooked, I know that everything in there is something that I'll like. I'm just that picky. Oh, man. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh. I was doing a lot of thinking this week on Joshua 1:9, and so I wanted to think, because I was like, everybody knows Joshua 1:9, right? What was leading up to it? What was leading up to him being told, be strong and courageous? So I want you to think for a minute. What is your biggest fear? Is it heights? Is it spiders or snakes? Is it dying? Is it public speaking? I read somewhere that 75% of people have a fear of public speaking. Even Moses himself didn't think himself a good speaker. We're going to switch over to the game screen real quick. I'm going to turn on display capture. Oh, hey, that's what the Book of Common Prayer is covering. Awesome! I love that. So let's take a look at Moses. In Exodus 3 and 4, we see Moses at the burning bush. He's been told by God, Moses, you are the one I'm telling you to go and rescue my people from Egypt. You need to go talk to Pharaoh, and I'll help you to know what to say, but you are the one I've chosen to go rescue my people. And Moses questions God at every turn. We see here, he's like, I tell them that you sent me, and they ask me, what is his name? What do I tell them? You tell them I am. Tell them I am has sent me. And then he says, but behold, they're not going to believe me or listen to me, for they're going to be like, the Lord didn't appear to you. So he's questioning God at every turn because he doesn't think he's qualified. So let's take a look at verse 10. But Moses said to the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent either in the past or since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and of tongue. So why is this such a big deal? Moses is getting ready to speak to the king of Egypt. So of course he's going to want to come across as eloquent in speech. But what is he forgetting? Take a look up here. He says, the Lord said to him, what is that in your hand? A staff, he said. Throw it on the ground. So he threw it on the ground and it became a snake. And then in verse 6, again the Lord said to him, put your hand inside your cloak. Oh wait, actually let's go back to verse 4. put out your hand and catch it by the tail. So Moses catches it by the tail and it turns back into a staff. Verse 6, put your hand inside your cloak. And he put his hand inside his cloak and took it out, and behold, his hand was leprous like snow. So he says, put your hand back in. And then he pulls his hand back out from his cloak, and it's restored. So God has just shown him that he can turn a staff into a snake and make a leprous hand whole again. So doesn't it stand to reason that God could help Moses with his speech? This is why God's response is so harsh. When Moses again questions God, in verse 13, he says, "Oh my Lord, please send someone else." He's asking God to please send someone better qualified to speak. And he says in verse 14 that the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. So it's important to know here that this is not an anger like a parent disciplining. He's not reprimanding Moses. He knows Moses was scared out of his wits to speak to Pharaoh. So what does God do? He doesn't say, "Oh, okay, I know you're scared, so I'll just send somebody else." No, he says, "All right, is there not Aaron, your brother, the Levite? I know he can speak well. He's coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth. He'll be the one doing all the talking." The responsibility is still with Moses, but God gives him a helper. So let's fast forward to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 1. Israel has arrived at the promised land, but they are scared to go in. Moses reminds them of all that God has done for them, how God brought them out of Egypt. And in chapter 1, verses 29 through 31, he says, "Then I said to you, do not be in dread or afraid of them. The Lord your God, who goes before you, will himself fight for you, just as he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness, where you have seen the Lord your God carried you as a man carries his son, all the way that you went until you came to this place." So he's reminding them of God's promises. He's reminding them that God brought them out of Egypt, that he was with them in the wilderness when they were there for 40 years. He carried them and was with them all that way. So then, in chapter 7, verses 14 through 26, we see, "If you say in your heart, 'These nations are greater than I, how can I dispossess them?' you shall not be afraid of them, but you shall remember what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and to all Egypt, the great trials that your eyes saw, the signs, the wonders, the mighty hand and the outstretched arm by which the Lord your God brought you out. So will the Lord your God do to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. Moreover, the Lord your God will send hornets among them, until those who are left and hide themselves from you are destroyed. You shall not be in dread of them, for the Lord your God is in your midst, a great and awesome God. The Lord your God will clear away these nations before you little by little. You may not make an end of them at once, lest the wild beasts grow too numerous for you. But the Lord your God will give them over to you and throw them into great confusion until they're destroyed. And he will give their kings into your hand, and you shall make their name perish from under heaven. No one shall